So I've now had both lobes of my thyroid taken out.
Is that the technical? Lobes?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 lobes.
Lobes.
I guess
what
a
makes
brain.
something a lobe?
Well, like a brain has 2 lobes.
What defines a lobe? Because ears have lobes and brains have lobes.
Ears do have lobes. I don't know what makes a lobe.
Comment if you know what makes a lobe.
Tell us what makes a lobe. But yeah, no, so I no longer have a thyroid. And I guess that's fine.
Take that, thyroid.
Yeah.
That
And
will teach you for becoming cancerous.
yeah. And so far, this recovery is better than the one I had last month. Because that's too, like, I've been trying to space out these story times so that this isn't just like the cancer hour all the time. But,
Yeah, you just want to pepper it in amongst the happy stuff so people never know what they're going to get.
yeah.
Like,
No.
Is this a fun story about working at a pizza place, or is this about cancer?
But, you know, I had the one surgery, and then a month later I had the other surgery, and
Yeah.
I was worried about that. And I was worried about it physically, because I knew it wouldn't be totally healed, but I was also, like, my self-esteem took a hit, and I was so worried that the scar would be even worse, and that I'd need, like, the biggest scarf ever, all the time.
You were healing pretty well from your first surgery, and I was scared that, like, the second surgery would, like, set you back further than the
Yeah.
first surgery.
And I was picturing myself like a zombie with stitches all over my neck and all that, and I lost a little bit of weight, but
Yeah.
everyone told me that it looked great, so I guess I'm fine, actually. Apparently I was a little chunky in the face. I didn't think so, but whatever. So...
You're not bitter about it, at least.
Mm. And your dad didn't help.
I know.
He meant well, though.
I know.
I can't be mad. He totally meant well. Because my dad came up to visit for a few days, and we all went out to dinner, and then your dad was trying to be supportive, I think. I'm 98% sure.
He was trying to do a nice ha-ha. He doesn't realize that that's not your relationship. So he says a lot of things that are like, you know how guys who aren't really friends will joke mean with each other?
Yeah.
That's how he learned to interact with people.
I hate it. Tell me that he's glad I'm smiling, but he could do without my second smile. What do you think I feel, man? You could do without my... Screw yourself. What? But he meant well, and we had a good time, and it's just, everybody's been real weird. And I get it. I get it. People process things differently. So I'm just, like, keeping tabs on how everybody responds. Because some of them are really funny.
In your little vengeance book.
Well, some of them are really funny. Like our friend who is a medical professional was trying really hard to help me see, like, a positive outlook. So she kept saying that I'll feel like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory with my golden ticket, and eventually, I can't say that I snapped, but my brain finally couldn't just smile about it.
Well,
and
she said it several times, and we had looked at each other and be like, most of those children did not have a good time.
yeah, what happened to the rest of the kids?
You're going to feel like you got a golden ticket.
They all got golden tickets.
Most of those kids did not have a good time.
Yeah, the only one that, like, technically made it out unscathed winds up with a burden forever.
Yeah, he is now a slave owner.
He thought he was just getting a tour and free chocolate.
Yeah, coming out with an everlasting gobstopper.
Yeah. So, no, that's horrible. And your mom made me socks.
Yes.
She might be making me a second pair for some reason.
It's how she's learned to deal with other people experiencing emotion is she will knit them things.
Which, I mean, she already bought me a couple pair of shoes. Like, something about my tiny little feet. Your mom just wants to cover my feet.
If your feet are warm, you're warm, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I thought I'd have to, like, cover up. And I was really self-conscious. But a month later, and I, like, barely had a line. Like, it looked like it would have been, I don't know, a year or something. Recovery.
It was barely there.
Yeah.
When first you got it, the most visible thing about it was there were like some stitches that were poking out. And
Yeah.
the meta tape they used was like bright purple.
Yeah.
But that was more visible than the actual like incision.
Yeah. Because even some of the medical professionals at the second surgery, when I said it had only been about a month, they looked at me like, what do you mean? So,
Yeah.
decided my surgeon is a wizard, and I'm not complaining about that. And I was extremely...
You're a wizard, doctor.
I was, like, obsessive about being careful about the neck glue, because I was terrified of peeling it too fast. I thought it'd, like, open up or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, 2 weeks in, and we talked to the same friend who said I would feel like I got a gold ticket. She told me not to be so precious with it, and I just took the rest of the glue off, and it was fine. Huh, gee.
Yeah.
And we were at their place for, like, the whole healing of that first... Not
Yeah.
the whole, but, like, the first week.
That was after the first surgery. I don't know if we mentioned this in the other one, but after the first surgery, we had already told our friends had planned a whole, like, multi-family vacation down to Disney.
Right.
And they dog sit for us all the time. And have never asked us for anything in return. So we had already committed, like, early last year that we were going to dog sit for them when they were off in Florida. And then we would house and dog sit for them because they've got a bigger yard and they have a greyhound who needs to move around.
Right.
So it was 4 days after your surgery and we were at their house instead.
Yeah. Which, not great, but whatever. Just us and 4 dogs.
Their house is nice, but it's a liminal space because it's not your house.
Yeah.
It's a lived-in house, but it's not yours, so you're never fully comfortable.
It was like the nicest Airbnb.
Well, the thing, no, like, because when you rent a house, it's set up like it's set up like hotel. Like, there's no personal effects around. It's all very like inconsequential stuff. This was like a lived-in house that we didn't live in, but we were living in.
Just squatting.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was just weird.
So after all that, and after we were home, and after whatever, and it's been a month. So the second surgery is coming up at that point, and I was scheduled, as far as we knew, for surgery the next week. And I waited for that call you get a week before surgery. Like, I gave myself some panic attacks, because I hate phones now. Like, it's just a phobia now, I guess. But no one called. So
we called them to be like,
yeah,
hey.
You called the main office. And the nurse was like, oh, we don't have anything written down, and it's a day he doesn't do surgeries, so...
Well, first, like
at all?
First, we don't have that on the schedule. We'll talk to the scheduler. And then I realized I had the scheduler's direct number, and I called it, and it's her message basically, I'm on vacation until day of surgery. I'm like, that doesn't work. So I had to call back the main line and be like, your scheduler's on vacation. Are you aware of this?
Right. And we had so much else going on in June that I, didn't really care for it to be put off, but I wanted to know when it was happening.
I mean, when they found the need to take out the second half, they literally said there's no rush, but I can't imagine living with the sword of Damocles of knowing that there is cancer in my body.
Just take it out.
And that the longer it's there, the more likely something bad happens.
Yeah, just take it out. Why leave it?
I can't. It doesn't... I have anxiety about everything.
Yeah, oh, no rush. No rush. It's fine. I don't care. I don't care how slow this is. You know it's there.
Yeah.
Evict it. It's not paying rent.
Well, we've talked to so many people who, they didn't find it until later, and it was much, much worse. So it's why would I save this till later?
Yeah. So then I did get a call back from someone who specifically said, I am not the scheduler, saying when it would be happening. And I was like, oh, okay, you're not the scheduler, but you just schedule. Okay, cool. And then... then...
The day the scheduler was back from vacation, we got a frantic call from her just confirming everything, because apparently when she was on vacation, handling it meant leaving a post-it note on her desk for her to deal with when she got back.
Yeah, so she called just be like, hey, so I'm sending it off to the surgeon, I'm getting things on the calendar. And I was like, oh, that thing I thought was already
she did a heavy
done.
sigh. It's I'm going to make sure that the hospital knows you're there for the surgery that day.
Right. And then the next day, I'm expecting the call you get before, surgery. The week before surgery, you're supposed to, get a call, and they ask you your weight, and they tell you not to take ibuprofen for a week, and yada yada. But instead I get a robocall that said I had an appointment the next day at 11 a.m.
Yeah, the surprise appointment. It was confirming the appointment that neither one of us made.
Yeah, it was okay, just a reminder for this thing that how is it a reminder if I didn't know?
There seemed to be a standard pre-op that the hospital does, but we didn't make the appointment. No one ever confirmed that was a good day or time for us.
And I didn't have one the first time.
Yeah. I remember because you told me about while I was at work, and I literally just had to walk up to my boss and be like, hey, fun fact about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it was middle of the day, and there was no point in going into work, being there for a half hour, and then leaving to go to the appointment, when last time we were in a hospital, it took 7 hours.
Right. And I didn't know...
So I was I don't know when this is over.
I didn't know how seriously to take it at first, because it was a robocall, and it didn't let me repeat the message.
Ooh.
That really screwed me up. So I wrote down the number as fast as humanly possible, and then I call the number really confused, and the person who picks up actually said to me, "Oh, you weren't who I was expecting a call from," and hands the phone to someone else. And then the second person confirms that I have the appointment and where to go, and that I should be hydrated in case I take a lot of blood. And I'm like, alright, okay, cool. What? And that's when I was like, oh, okay, so this is a real thing that's really happening. And luckily they were really nice. Like, they were really quick to write down that you stay with me for as long as possible, and reassured me that my recovery would probably be the same as it was last time. And I half-jokingly asked if she had a sticker for me since I was having blood drawn, and she told us to wait a minute, and then ran out of the room and came back with lollipops for us both. So that was very nice.
Yes.
She had like panic, just oh no, I have no treat. I must find a treat. So she went somewhere.
I'm with you. Like whenever like medical shit is happening, at the end of it, I deserve a treat.
Yeah, and it was also nice that like with all my bone related nonsense and chronic pain and the fact that I have thyroid cancer, and to still have someone be like, you're very healthy. It's like, you know what? All right.
Yeah.
I don't feel that, but okay. Yeah, that's kind of nice.
I mean, I've been looking at my blood pressure, so whenever they took yours, I'm just like, that's my girl, because you are always right on 120/80.
Even when I feel like my heart should be racing out of my chest.
Yep.
Because my blood pressure is normally very low, so it winds up just kind of normal. But I'm freaking out.
Whenever a doctor goes to measure, it just jumps up 5 points. And I think
yeah,
they take that into account.
Just as normal. So it's the day of the surgery. And I'm just skipping ahead because we got there. Everybody had been really nice. There were 2 TVs in the waiting room that played at the same time, but like slightly off, so it was like an echo.
They were 10 feet apart, and they were set to the same channel, but because of whatever latency issues, they were like a quarter second apart.
It was a little mad thing, but like that was the worst, which meant this was great.
Because you could be like, well, sound travels differently than light, but we were equidistant between the two.
Yeah, they were next to each other.
Off.
And yeah. I got lost on the way to the bathroom the first time that I had to give a sample.
Yep.
So this time it was really nice. The lady actually stayed with me. Not in the stall, but like nearby, so I didn't get lost.
Yeah, when you're nervous, you will stand next to the thing you're looking for and just look helpless.
Yeah. but the sample thing was still weird.
Yeah.
It was still weird. Because instead of just like peeing in the plastic cup and writing my name on it, or even peeing into like the actual sample cup itself, like specimen cup, they had me pee into the plastic cup and then have me carefully pour my own urine sample into a tiny test tube and then toss the cup. It like
I feel like leaving that to laymen is just opening it up for people to mess it up and
yeah, like
spill on the floor.
How do I know it's not somehow contaminated, or like, and putting the little rubber cap on, I thought I was gonna like drop everything. It was too much responsibility. I hated doing it, but she stayed nearby, and that was good. And that was the weirdest thing that happened to me that whole time. So fine, I'll take it. And I also didn't keep my underwear on this time around, so there's that. She after the fact, after I'd already taken it off, she was like, "Oh, if you really wanted to, you could have kept your underwear on." But typically, we tell people not to. It's like, you didn't. If this was a choice, okay, well, I'm undie-less.
Just your neck was like, well, I suppose it's all up there. You could have left your underwear on. So it's like, cool. Too late for that information.
Yeah, and finding a vein was the thing. She talked about how she normally puts it in like lower part of the arm, but the surgery is on the front of my neck, so I'll probably just be on my back. And she's looking like she wants my opinion, and I just put the needle in my arm, man. Like, I don't... What? Of course, when I woke up, I had a bunch of holes, because they had taken the blood samples to check my calcium and all that.
Yeah.
But I had, like, a bunch of holes.
At least 3 holes.
Somebody screwed up somewhere. They were having a time. They were trying tiny little veins.
Well, you weren't very helpful at the time.
That's true. I was unconscious. But, yeah, and they didn't have stickers at all. Even at the hospital, there were no stickers.
So like, oh, that's children's wing.
But the overall experience was still better than the first surgery at a different hospital. And you were there with me most of the time until I had to go to the OR.
You were a lot less frustrated coming out of your anesthesia this time.
Yeah.
Also, things happened more timely. Things happened on time. And I don't know if that's because we were the first appointment or is a different hospital or a combination, but like...
Well, and the first time I asked for you, they got you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I didn't have to ask a billion times. And you had a ticket for me.
They gave me basically the clean ticket like you get at the dry cleaners for your jacket. Like, we checked you in, and they gave me this ticket that had, like, your name on it and a code and said, this is how you find your wife. And as I was, like, tracking you down through the hallways, it just flashed the ticket at people.
Yeah.
I'm here for my wife. You here to pick up my wife?
I mean, you got
Is my
me.
wife clean now?
Yeah, when I came to,
Did you get the cancer out?
yeah, when I came to, she was spoon-feeding me ice. Were you there yet for that?
No. I was
think-
not there for the ice or the spoon feeding.
I think that was when I was like, oh, hey, I'm awake. Where's my husband? Yeah, she asked if I wanted ice, and I just, like, opened my mouth, and she would put a chunk of ice in my mouth. And she did that, like, 3 times, and it wasn't until after the fact I was like, was I supposed to take the spoon? Was I supposed to... I don't even know where it came from. She must have had a bucket somewhere.
They probably have all there. Like, if you reached for it, you might be like, no, just open. Like,
Yeah.
they put you under pretty heavily.
Yes. And I was hydrated. Because I couldn't drink anything after midnight. And then
Right.
by the time they're giving me ice chunks, and then water with you, they gave me the whole thing with the straw.
Yeah.
I was so hydrated. and it was almost a problem. Because I was so full of pee. I was also orange, which I didn't know. And this is
They
important.
dumped iodine on you.
Yeah, and it's important because I went places with you, and I didn't realize that I looked like an Oompa Loompa. The golden ticket came back, only I was one of the Oompa Loompas. I was very orange.
You looked like you had been on a Nickelodeon show if they used orange instead of green for the slime.
Yeah.
Like, it was just from your lower lip down.
Yeah.
And when I was up to clean it off, it was on your back. So they just poured it on you.
Yeah, and there's, not a lot of numbness on my neck this time, and no fat lip. So,
Yeah, the breathing tube was apparently a lot gentler this time.
yeah, it didn't tear me up this time, which is really nice. But I was full of pee. They let me get dressed before I had to, go prove that I could pee, which was nice, so I didn't have to worry about my butt.
Yep.
Naked everywhere.
You also had a very nice room with full huge windows.
And a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was swanky. It was nice. So yeah, I peed, and then I went to pee again before getting wheeled out. And while the last time I was in the wheelchair, it felt like I was going extremely fast. And you were like, no, you weren't.
Yeah.
This time, I didn't have that sensation. But this time I got in that extra wide one.
They put you. It was ridiculous. You sat you about took up a third of that wheelchair.
Yeah.
You sat in the middle,
But I loved it. I felt like a jester who had stolen to a sit on the king's throne, Like, I was king for a day.
You were king for one ride.
Yeah, I had a ball. But yeah, so I peed twice before we left.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to the car, and then, I thought it was fine, and then suddenly I'm begging you to pull over to a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, we were halfway home, and you're like, I need to pee right now. So we just got off next exit. I bought a donut, so we were a customer. You peed.
Yeah,
And you're still in that 24 hours of, supervision. So I'm out there with my phone on a timer, just she doesn't come out in 5 minutes. I gotta go in.
Yeah, and then we go to the grocery store so I can get my medication, and I went to the bathroom then.
Well, the grocery store is the pharmacy.
Yeah,
Not all grocery stores have pharmacies.
No, but
our
there's-
grocery store is a pharmacy.
there's a pharmacy when you walk in. There's a nice pharmacy, and you did kindly wash off my orange from my skin once we got home.
Yes.
But I just need to point out that I went to a Dunkin' Donuts and the pharmacy in a grocery store, and I was orange. I was fruit.
It was fine. You had a huge ice pack on your neck. Obviously, things had happened.
And an incident occurred.
Yeah. And no one looked at you weird. No one, did the whole head cockle of just what the fuck is this? No one did that. It's fine. No one cared.
Yeah.
If you're walking around with a huge neck bandage on a Tuesday early afternoon, you've had a day.
No one's gonna say boo to it.
Yeah.
That's fair. And yeah, this time I can absolutely feel my neck this time around. Which is better because the first surgery, I felt like I had a sunburn all over my neck.
Mm.
And otherwise totally numb. And this time it's nothing except random moments of pinching, stabbing, and then it's fine again. Not bad enough to warrant anything.
The healing tingles.
Yeah. But it's like the nerve endings are looking around, going, "Hey, where's Bill?"
Or just like this connects here, and then the nerve ending goes, "Oh god!"
Yeah, but it's just over-the-counter painkillers and it's fine. And the ice pack works differently too. And I know no one cares about this, but I'm fascinated.
By the Velcro ice pack?
Yeah. Because, instead of the ties, it's Velcro. And the ice comes out in like a whole little plastic baggie.
It's 2 bags instead of 1.
Yeah. And otherwise it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And, and I had a big panic attack when I took my first thyroid replacement medication.
Mm-hmm.
It's the tiniest pill in the world. Extremely small. And we knew I wasn't allergic because, like, we had literally read ingredients.
I had Googled it multiple times, and once again before you took it, to be like, those are not allergies that are associated with it.
But I sat there looking for hives and texting all our medical professional friends at like 5 in the morning.
7.
And they were so nice.
7 in the morning.
They were all nice to me about it.
Everyone loves you.
And I got through it, and I've been taking it, and it's fine. But, I'm still looking for comfort. Like, I knew how this would go, so that'll all get monitored in a few months. Or like 6 weeks, I think I talked to an endocrinologist from here, and by the time this comes out, I'll have already had that appointment, I think.
We have some follow-ups, but all the surgeries are done.
Yeah.
So, like, after this, it's not like no one's wheeling you away to have a knife fight while you're unconscious.
No. And it'll still get looked at for a while until the dosage is right, but that's just the nature of this.
Yeah.
I'm on the most it possibly can be for my weight. And then at some point will be the radioactive iodine treatment. And it's a one-time thing, followed by a short quarantine. And again, I know all this, but I'm still terrified anyway.
There'll be a video about that, too.
I know people who had it done, and they're fine. And I'm still like, I don't want to be radioactive.
You're going to get the bedroom, and we're going to put up the doggy gate, and we're all just going to look at you from the other side.
I better get superpowers, because if I don't, it's like such a... No, come on.
What animal from New York would you want to get powers from?
A possum.
The power to play dead?
Oh, that's not great, is
to
it?
get stuck in the wall? What's your end game?
Well, I was thinking, like, they don't get,
They don't get rabies.
They don't get rabies, and ticks aren't a problem.
They eat ticks.
Yeah.
So you want to have tick-eating powers.
Yeah. Because ticks are terrifying to me.
Okay.
And rabies is, like, the scariest thing in the world.
Okay. Typically when I'm terrified of things, I don't say, hey, I'd like to eat that. But, you do you, boo.
I'd rather be the one that eats it than,
I mean, it's fair enough.
Because, like, if I got bitten by a tick and wound up with a meat allergy, I don't need that added to everything else.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
Alright, so we'll get you bit by a possum while you're radioactive.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I have, like, a month before it happens, just because I have other stuff. Like, I want it to be done and over with, but I've been dealing with this shit since March. And again,
It's taken over the entire year.
Yeah, we're recording this in late June. Like, I want my life back.
Well, an initial doctor's appointment was end of January.
Yeah, I need a break. I need to be human again for like a month. I want to buy stuff, like a new suit, to make me feel better about myself, and because I've felt really ugly after all this, and
But you're so pretty.
I appreciate that.
You're so pretty.
I appreciate that.
You should never feel ugly. You're gorgeous.
And smaller medical things, like I need new glasses, and I want to get my cap fixed on my tooth, and I want to do things. I want to do things. But yeah, so the second surgery, honestly, way smoother, better experience than the first. I'm convinced they use muscle relaxants or something, because after the first surgery I couldn't move my head. I was basically Batman, like the Michael Keaton one.
Yeah, you have to explain that for people who don't know all of Batman lore. In the original Batman with Michael Keaton, the movie from '89,
yeah, he couldn't turn his head.
The mask and the neck piece would allow him to turn his head, which they directly address in the sequel.
Yeah, so I was like that, and you had to be like a human spatula and help me up with your hands.
Yeah, the first 2.5 days I had to basically like pry you off of every surface.
Yeah, but this time you haven't had to do that.
Nope.
I have felt better after this surgery than I did before it, and they must have done something while they were in there.
They were good.
So, surgery is done. No more thyroid. Ex-thyroid. Expelled.
Yep.
And, rock on.
Rock on.